Welcome back for the last day of Kwanzaa. This day is the final day. Faith, Imani. So we're going to start it off like we're supposed to start it off. Habaragani, Imani. I mean, what is the news? Faith. Now, according to our tradition, faith is to believe with all our hearts in our own people, in our parents, and our teachers, and our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggles. Why is that important? It's important because in understanding the nature of who you are as a people, you begin to understand the highs and lows of you as a people. You begin to understand the obstacles in the way of you as a people. So, when we look to our leaders, rather they was leaders that was righteousness, so to speak, or they was just a struggling person, we can learn from that because we need data to understand who we are as a people. What does it takes to survive harsh conditions that we find ourselves in? What does it takes to maintain in an environment that seems like it's impossible to maintain within? And so we honor our people. This is the day we honor our ancestors, our elders, and our youth. We pay attention to the actions that they took so that we can calculate and keep tabs of our history and our historical progress and the historical failures, the historical strong points, and historical weak points. Because some of these things have stayed consistent throughout history, especially since we've been conquered. So it's always good to honor our ancestors and honor our elders. This is the day that we reflect upon the past and we look forward to the future in order to build. Because if you don't know where you came from, any road will take you there. This is a saying that came from our people in our k.B.Z. And it's true. For example, some people in poverty-stricken conditions never had nothing. The opportunities in these, and I'm gonna apply this to hillbillies and trailer parks, Europeans as well, because them are the ghettos of Europeans and stuff, right? Since we like to link ourselves with European, which is the truth, we are linked because we all struggle together. But some of us don't like to believe in our own people, so we just gonna bring the whole truth out in these areas. In these poverty-stricken areas, though, right? Hopelessness reigns supreme. So when you in an area where you ain't motivated to be somebody, you pick the nothingness of that society to make yourself stand out. What do I mean by that? To steal, in my eyes, right? To steal, to get high, and to steal, to eat. Them is the attributes, especially if you're just doing it randomly, right? Well, I'm just saying to get high. Because sometimes when you're stealing to eat, man, it's almost borderline justified when you're doing it to eat, when you gotta eat, when you're hungry. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, when you stealing to get high and have these good times, that's the attributes of someone that uses drugs. Do I have a problem with a drug addict? No. At one point in time, I seen them to be allies in my means of bringing about financial gain to aid myself. So I don't look down on them at all. But I do consider myself live at a level that's higher than the actions that they take to get they high. So, you will find someone in the community that say, hey, listen, I'm going to steal just to be stealing. I'm going to steal because I want to smoke some weed. I'm going to steal just because I just want to party and have fun off of this stealing. It serves you absolutely no purpose. So you done put yourself on the line. You done put your life on the line. You done suffer, you could possibly suffer incarceration just for the sake of having a beer. or just for the sake of partying. These are things that make people feel like, okay, I'm somebody because I can steal and do these different things in my community. And these is the lowest grain of attributes to have when you live in a society that produces fear, desperation. Another aspect, you have people just run around, being that I can't be a professional nothing, so I just just starting all type of chaos. I'm gonna rob you for no reason. I'm gonna shoot people for no reason. I'm gonna start fights and all this type of stuff, because these are the things that people that don't have shit to aspire to, that want a name. So they'll take a negative name in order to make their presence felt. So it's data in that. It's data in people that have walked the streets to cause problems, confusion. Some of them that overcame it and became somebody. Some of them didn't. If we take ourselves seriously as a people, right, we will recognize the things that is beneficial and the things that is detrimental to our condition as a people. But you don't get that unless you have imani, faith, to believe in our leaders, negatively or positively, because the negative, listen, it's the negative always give you a positive when you look at it the right way. If somebody out there fucking up, it's gonna tell you what not to do if you don't want to be in a fucked up situation. And that's just real talk, man. Like I said, I'm talking to the people that need this the most. I ain't talking to these uppity people that talk all proper and stuff. I'm talking about the people that really need this, man. The little homies that really need this, right? But anyway, data is there. Data is there from the homies from the hood that made it, that went from a dope dealer to a businessman. It's data there. It's data in the hood from people that actually organized properly in a way to get themselves and their people out of the mud. It's data there. It's data in there that showed that among these men that have showed people how to be a man and diplomatic about situations, and only to defend themselves when the time is necessary. So the data is there. But when we go back and we look at our history, this is another thing when we get a little deeper. We learn the complexity of the obstacles that's against us. What do I mean by that? If we knew our history, we know that before crack cocaine hit the neighborhoods, they had already declared war on drugs and targeted the inner cities, the poverty-stricken areas, specifically the urban, which is another title for black and color or, so forth communities, right? So they hit these communities and declared war on these people before the drugs hit their communities, and then planted the drugs in the communities, and then said that the reason why we hit in the urban areas is because they use drugs on the streets. Although we know drugs is being used in upper and middle class, but they saying their drugs is being used in the household. It's lighter. When they using more drugs or just as much drugs, it ain't never lesser drugs, you know what I'm saying, in these communities than it is in these poverty-stricken areas. But if you don't know that, you don't know how to maneuver around these things. Watch how your people get caught up. Watch how your people succeed. And there's been many, many chapters in our history to tell us what it means to be a great man. What it means to walk as a God on earth. What it means to walk as a poor righteous teacher. What it means to be a man that protect the community. Look at the Black Panthers. If you want to know how to protect your community, look at the Black Panthers. Perfect example. Look at Marcus Garvey. A perfect example. These wasn't no uppity guys, man. These were hood guys, man. These guys was just like y'all, just like us. Like my man Kendrick say, they not like us. The reason why they not like us, I get that term because, and I ain't talking about his beef with Drake, but I'm saying it in the aspect of we the closest to the problem, so we the ones that's gonna have to bring the solution to our struggle. And how do we bring the solution? We listen to our leaders. We believe in our people. We believe in our parents. You see what I'm saying? We believe in the victory of our struggle because we still here and we made it, man, against all type of opposition. So I'm saying that this, right? So we use this anyway, right? This is how our mind operates, and I want everybody to try to remember this because it's potent. And I want to say where I got it from. In the Kemetic tradition, there's something called metutu. In the Kemetic, for the people that don't know, them are the ancient Egyptians, the black Egyptians before Egypt was conquered and renamed Egypt. It was Kemet at first. Okay, now you got the metutu system in Kemet, which we say the Kemetians, it was Kemet. But the metutu system. In the Yoruba system, it was called the Odu system. But here's how it works. Our ancestors recognized that the way that the brain operates collectively and individually is that the brain have quadrants. And they have, to add clarity to quadrants, we're going to say the brain have storage rooms where it stores different type of informations and assign it to different type of situations, right? These are the metutus and the odus, and this is what these actions come through. So what it is this. You will see as you coming up into the world as a youngster, a child, you're not discriminating between what's going on and what is, what's likable, what's not likable. You're just picking up on stuff, right? But this is what happens. You begin to pick up on the information that your elders teach you. That information guides you throughout life. I don't care if you looking for if you think they didn't. The fact of the life is that you did. Everything you know came from somebody else. You can't. It's really that you're gonna come up with a brand new thought, and you can lie to yourself and say you have, but you haven't. So this is what happens. You a youngster. You a baby. The first people you begin to learn from is your mother, your father, or those in your immediate household. So you pick up mannerisms, you pick up speeches. When you seen pops out there in the street or in the house engaging with moms, you seen how he responded to her and wooed her. You seen when he got mad, the type of actions that he distributed, and you record that. That become your data. Now, kids spend a lot of time in trance, but we ain't gonna go too deep off in trance, but I'm gonna say this about trance. It's a heightened state of awareness where you easily programmed, right? And most people don't understand that, but it's another topic, but we'll get on that. But this is how you program yourself. So what happens is this. As you move farther out, you go into the people in your neighborhood and you see these different things. You see how the man approached the woman when he's trying to get at her. You see how the man defend himself when he's feel offended or attacked. You see these different mannerisms in your neighborhood and you record it. Now the people that you see out there doing the same thing got it from somebody else, right? So mild level leaders and great leaders, you begin to notice these people in your community. You begin to hear stories about them from the people that knew them and the people that passed that information on to people that didn't know them. So now what have happened? You have established an Odu system. So now, without you even having to be constantly aware of it, when you approach a situation, the first thing that your brain do is recall scenarios where the people that you admire or the people that you subconsciously picked up their mannerism from, how they responded to that situation. And within a matter of milliseconds, you grab whatever action that was assigned to that situation according to your own standard, and you respond to that situation at hand. So if you seen a badass girl, she's a beautiful thing, you feel me? And you like, I gotta have her. The first thing you're gonna do is that you're gonna recognize it's a category of all the men that you admire or all the men that you subconsciously picked up on, the mannerism of how to obtain a chick that you like. And you're gonna move off of that. If you was being in a situation where you had to be diplomatic and you had to talk your way out of a situation, you're going to pull up all the data from the people that had that type of mannerism to talk their way out of a situation, and you're going to select the response that you feel is necessary from the information that's been given to you on how to respond to that situation. And you're going to use that. And we all use that, right? So the goal is to be aware that we are already moving off data. And a lot of people tell you, don't look at the past, don't look at the past. Oh no, the past is behind you. No. That's a goddamn lie, man, and that's been used by people that want to manipulate you to be nobodies so they can keep you nobodies. Because if you don't look at the past, you don't know what's been done. So what that means is this: you have to recreate the wheel. You had to reinvent the wheel. You had to go through obstacles that other people went through that if you would just simply took the data, you already would have knew a better way to build that situation or to survive and thrive in that situation. So this is the reason why we pay attention to our elders, our parents, our leaders, our culture. I mean, the greatness and the victories of us as a people. We have to have faith in this, because rather you believe in systemic classification, should I say. To what I mean by that is where people have classified themselves as a certain people, and they say we moving out like this as a people, and in the world other people have done the same thing or something similar, saying we are a certain people and we moving like this. Now some of it spilled over from just identifying with their special group that they label themselves as, and some of it took it farther to declare systemic racism, manifest destiny, meaning that, hey, me and my people is better than any other people when we made the rule and lord over other people because we are some type of chosen people or whatever the case may be. It's bullshit, but it exists. It don't exist in nature, but it been created by creators, because we create like God created. That's the power that's been given to us to create. It ain't about who's right, who's wrong. He who uses the space properly is he who excels in that situation. So he who don't use his space properly don't get the results he looking for. He who uses his space properly, he gets the results that he looking for. And that's a fact of life. That's a fact of life. The universe don't give a fuck if you a good man, a bad man, a child, or an old man. You use the space right, and you get the results you're looking for. You're gonna survive in this environment better than the person that didn't. That's a fact of life. But anyway, this is the reason why culture is important. This is the reason why history is important, because you ain't got to believe shit. Shaka Zulu and them didn't believe in the magic of guns, but that didn't stop a bullet from penetrating them and killing them and knocking them down. So you ain't got to believe in none of the stuff that people running around here saying is going on. But the fact that it got an effect on you don't have no goddamn bearing in what you believe. None whatsoever. So I say this again, we need to automatically honor our past to give birth to our future. We need to look back and see what was done, man. Unc acted like this in this type of environment, in this type of situation with these elements in play, and Unc lost. Because Unc is a leader to you, right? So I know that when I'm in this type of environment and these type of elements at play, move different from what Unc did. Cuzzo was in a similar situation, but Cuzzo moved it this way, and he got some results that he was looking for. That's your data, man. That's how and you gotta have faith in that, because this has been proven. It's been proven that if you got this type of mannerism and you got these type of elements in play, if you can move like this, you can be successful. Now, granted, every single thing don't mean it's beneficial to everybody. That's why we got multiple quadrants that we utilize in different situations. In order to know yourself, you got to know your people, because the same mannerism that you're using every day, the same emotions that you're dealing with and struggling with every day, you got elders and ancestors that have been through it and conquered it. And if they ain't conquered it, they have been able to label it and define it to a T. We ain't talking about no doctors, because half of them motherfuckers going off of a script. We talking about real life. A curriculum can't help you when you dealing with real life shit, because the curriculum only gonna keep you on one page, and that one curriculum don't apply to everybody, man. But when you look at your history, you're gonna see the different makeup of people that look like you, different makeup, different characteristics of people that look like you. And you're going to be able to see the mannerism that they use in order to be successful and to be failures at life. That data is potent. That's a part of our struggle. That's a part of our greatness. And we're going to see the highs and the lows. We're going to discover what will make us successful in life as a people and what will make us failures in life as a people. And we learn from it and grow for it. The data isn't potent. It's potent as we allow it to be. Our history and our struggle is real in this king, man. That's a fact. I don't care if you a gangbanger, man. The history and the stories of the people that came before you should be a guide as to what to do and what not to do. It ain't good and it don't look good dying for bullshit. It ain't never gonna look good dying for bullshit. So therefore, we need to find out who he is, man. What done happened so far. And fix problems and weaknesses, get strengthened so that we can be successful and great as a people. We must also always remember that we have to believe in our people with all our heart. Because systemically, we all classify with the same characteristics. If we are a diseased people and been classified as a diseased people by a systemic system of peoples, then that same disease applies to every last one of us. And when we see our leaders challenging these situations, fetiseli, man. And that's a Yoruba word that means pay attention. And that way, when you paying attention, and if you ever decided you are going to challenge the same system, you know what worked and you know what didn't work. If you ever decide that you are going to financially liberate yourself and your people, you know what worked and know what didn't work. You know what obstacles to look out for. And that's what Imani is all about. And that's what we must reflect at the end of every day in the Maya's Hall of Justice. The 3 judgments. I don't know why I want to bring this up, but I feel it need to be judged. It need to be done. I don't know if you ever heard of this, but there was in the Kemetic system and a lot of the other African traditions and spiritual system, there was a thing called the 3 judgments. Most people know about the 1 judgment. The judgment of when you die. You call before the maker to be judged according to your actions and so forth. According to the Kemetic tradition, your ka, all the negatives part of your ka was eaten by a creature. I ain't about to describe it like that. I can't remember the name. But a creature. Your heart was weighed against the feather of truth, meaning that the emotion of your heart must be measured against the lightness of your feather of truth, of the feather of truth, meaning that you can't be guided by your emotions and stuff. But anyway, the first judgment was when you die. The other judgment, we know it as something different. We call it a New Year's resolution, which is this time right here. This is the time when we reflect on the years past, the multiple years past, in relation to what we was trying to establish. We judge ourselves according to what we stated we would live and what we stated to be our truth to elevate ourselves to a different level and stage in life. And we declare rather we live truth in the moment by meaning that we lived up to all of our expectations, or we declared ourselves one who have not lived truth. Some aspects you're going to say, I did that. Some aspects you're going to say, I didn't do that, and I need to work on that more. The other judgment is every night before you go to sleep. Every night before you go to sleep, you should ask yourself or declare to yourself, according to the 42 Declaration of Freedom from Sin, not negative confessions. This is where the Moses got the 10 Commandments from. You know what I'm saying? From out of the Egyptians' school of thought. But anyway, okay, let's go. You will declare every night that you have lived your truth, meaning that you have done and lived up to what you said you would live up to. All of the things you said you would break that didn't lead to you being successful in life, the habits that you said you would break, the mannerism that you said you would break, the thought patterns that you said you would break, and the things that you said you would do to prove to yourself that you are who you say you are. If you haven't done these things, your own mind would declare you a liar. But this is how you gauge your spirituality. This is how you gauge your mental progress. There ain't no curriculum in school that can put you up on game when you're dealing with self. Talking about your declaration of freedom from sin at your hall of justice every night at the end of every year, and then accountable for it at the end of your life. Now you think about that in terms of as a people. If your people was to stand before a council as a whole people, ensuring the progress of your whole people, and we declared what we have done at the end of the year, and then we declared we know we're going to be accountable as a people in the end of the race that we are trying to attain as to how do we live truth, and we will be devoured by the monster that declares we didn't live truth, right? So if we wake up every day striving and calculating and remembering the things that brought us success and the things that brought us failures in life, being honest with ourselves is the key to it. But it again, and again, and again, and again, and again, man, we got to have faith in our people. And in having faith in your people, you will have faith in yourself. This is what the whole Kwanzaa and the whole African culture and spirituality is all about. Are we racist? No. Because we saying the world people need to do the same goddamn thing. And being that y'all segregated everybody, the rulers that be, then everybody need to tag on and become aware of these situations so that they can progress. Those is on the losing end, specifically if you in poverty. You need to understand that your poverty is not because of the next race or individual. Your poverty is because there's a class of people that want to dominate you, and you haven't been moving in a way that you show respect and honor and pride to your people. The leaders, the real leaders, we ain't talking about these politicians, but they'll sell you out for $1. They'll sell you out for a seat. We talking about the people that care for the people. And it's most of the people that care for the people and trying to make good for the people is the people that sit in your neighborhood. Love is love. Peace is peace. If you hear me, you hear me. If you know me, you know me. You feel me, you feel me. We in the building once again. One love, many lives, one nation, one struggle. Imani is the message of the day, man. Let's think and reflect on these words and stuff, man. Holla if you hear me, man. I leave y'all as I came. In peace.